Welcome back to another episode of the Transformation Chamber, man.
Sir.
I'm here with my brother Shan Charles, man. Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
I appreciate you for inviting me. Thank you so much, brother.
It was easy, man. I'll tell you guys a little bit about Shan. I actually was introduced to you by a mutual friend, Jeremy Brown.
Yes,
and
Jeremy.
he was like, "Yo, you talking about transformations? It's no way you can talk about transformations without talking to this guy."
Man, Jeremy's love, man.
Yeah, he's good people. And so I think I saw like you got like this one picture that you always post to show people, like, "Yo, this is me at almost 300 pounds.
Yes,
look at me now." So, and I just going into your background a little bit, you said you're not only a fitness trainer,
right?
You are a willpower coach.
Oh yeah,
and motivational speaker.
Yes, sir.
So, willpower coach. Talk to us about that. How did you get there? You know what I mean? Start from where you were born and all the way to where you are now.
From where I'm born, my family stems from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So my father was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and my mother was raised in Trinidad and Tobago, which is the Eastern Caribbean, West Indies. And so when my parents first moved to this country, they were already behind the ball at that time. They sent my father back to the Caribbean when they moved here because I guess he was undocumented or didn't have the proper paperwork.
Interesting.
Right. So they were about a couple of days away from being on Skid Row, Los Angeles, California's basically end game for the homeless community.
Wow.
Right. And they were saved by my godmother. And fast forward that story, you look at me at one point in my early 20s where I was homeless and I had almost no help at one moment. And so to see that turn around and then even losing the weight, being 291 pounds, like you said, near 300 pounds, and now sitting at anywhere in between 195 and 199.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what allowed me to overcome all these obstacles of being homeless, of being overweight and obese, of being taken advantage of. I don't know, of being kidnapped as a teenager.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily what allowed me to overcome this, but I know all I needed was willpower, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if I can run through the wall, I'm going to run through the wall.
Man.
If I'm going to hit the wall, I'm going to hit the wall. But at the end of the day, I'm going to run through that wall.
Yeah. So talk about being kidnapped, right? Like what is that life like? You're already the son of two immigrants.
Right.
You're here trying to make the best of what you have. And how old were you when you were kidnapped?
Man, I was in my sophomore year of high school going into my junior year. So it was the summer of my sophomore year going into my junior year.
Yeah, so tell us the story behind this. I thought it was interesting when I first heard it.
This is one of those stories where you have to read it and see it to believe it. Because even when I say it, I'm like, man, this can't be true. So I was sleeping. I was in my home. I was sleeping. It was 3:30 in the morning. And two random gentlemen was standing at the end of my bed and telling me, all I remember was, "Mr. Charles, get up." And so I'm thinking, this feels like a dream. Like, this can't be real. Like, two random gentlemen, okay, whatever. So the next thing I do is I look up in the doorway and I see my mother and my father standing there.
Wow.
And at this point, I'm like, okay, this really can't be real because my dad would have been whipped some tail. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm young, 14, 15, whatever the age was at that time. And I'm just going with the flow, like whatever, man. Like, all right, so I get off and they give me my shoes and tell me to take the shoelaces out. And I'm like, am I a criminal? What did I do?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they put handcuffs behind my back. They're walking me down the stairs. I'm asking if I can say bye to my brother because I don't know where I'm going. And they tell me no. And I'm like, this isn't right, man. Like, this is I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
Someone's going to wake me up at some point.
Right.
And so they're walking me out the front door. And as I'm walking out the front door, I'm looking at my parents. And the only thing my mom is saying is like, this is for your own good. Mind you, I've never been in trouble in my life.
Man.
So I'm still lost and shook. And that was how I was taken from my home. Was straight in front of my parents out of the front door. So at that point, PTSD, separation anxiety, all that starts
kicking in. Yeah.
And you can't fight it.
Did your parents tell you ultimately why they chose to? This was voluntarily on their behalf, correct?
This is a system that's legal in America, and I'm actually active right now in breaking it down. Seriously, it's called the Wasp Program, the WASP. I think it's WASSP if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry about that. The Wasp Program, and I was at a place called the Carolina Springs Academy. And CSA, Carolina Springs Academy, what it is that a lot of times the government would take in kids that need help, like if they're runaways or if they're into drugs or whatever the case is.
Right.
If they're juvenile delinquents, the government would send them into these separate areas to get help.
Yeah.
And a lot of times for parents who have money and they feel like their kid needs help, they'll send them there too.
Wow.
And on the other end, there's another part of the spectrum that people aren't speaking about. It's the over-religious, zealous parents who feel like they have to do anything within their power to make sure that their child is going to live a life according to what God is telling them.
Wow.
And that's how my parents got caught up. A pastor told them to send me over there.
That's insane.
And I never got in trouble in my life. They never got in trouble in my life. And they miscommunicate what they're really doing to the children out there. So they say, your children are hiking and they're dissing. Oh, man, no. You can't even lean against the couch. You can't even, man, the stories that I could tell you from that experience, it'll rock you, man.
Yeah, you share some with me.
And for the fact that it's legal.
It's insane, bro.
It's legal.
It's almost like, so your parents tried to scare you into being super religious, or what would you say?
So what it is that when you don't really know what it is that you want, this how I'm able to like not be so upset, you know, because parents do the best that they can at the end of the day, right? Yeah. They do the best that they can. But I feel like you got to have unity in the household.
Yeah.
And as a child, I always recognized that there wasn't really unity in my household. And without unity, there's going to be decisions made that are going to affect people outside of
other people, right?
Right. And so there was decisions being made on one end, and the other end isn't in agreement to it. You have one end that's super on right wing on this end, and another that's super. And that's what's happened is a division in the household.
Yeah.
There was a division in the household. So it wasn't so much that they were trying to make me super religious. My sister was just a runaway child at the time. They sent my sister there first. My sister would write home letters saying that she's happy. Mind you, this really isn't my sister writing these letters home.
Wow.
So my parents are thinking that Shan is going to get a head start because this place is changing. Or I don't want to say my sister's name, but this place is changing my sister for the good, quote unquote, changing her for the good.
Yeah.
So why not let my son go there and experience what it feels like?
That's insane.
So, I mean, the fact that I had to experience that quote unquote goodness, but being handcuffed is what confused me. I didn't understand what was going on. On the drive there, I'm asking where am I going. There's no answer. I fall asleep. I wake up. I'm seeing welcome to Georgia. I'm being taken out of the car in handcuffs and into a gas station. I'm just like, what did I do to deserve this treatment? I'm a kid. Why do I have handcuffs at a gas station? Why are you feeding me? Like I'm in the back seat. Why are you feeding me Coca-Cola as if I'm a pet? Like I can't. What's going on? So all this was, I know this was, looking back, hindsight is always 20/20.
Always.
So looking back, I know this was them trying to break me down and trying to make me feel as if everything that they're doing is what's going to keep me safe. But I knew I didn't deserve to be there. I knew whatever was going on, I was going to overcome it. I just didn't know how. I didn't know why.
Can you talk about some of the things that happened while you're there if you feel comfortable? I know you told me we had a training session. You kind of just like let me know.
Yeah, man.
I was like, yo, bro, this is insane.
Yeah, man.
Just talk about some of the stuff you saw and why it's important for you to, like you said, you're going after trying to alleviate this whole program.
For sure.
Can you talk about it?
For sure. So, I mean, the way the system is set up there, okay, example. I mean, we can go into crazy stories. A simple one, like my sister was there. Mind you, boys and girls can't look at each other. So imagine if you didn't know where your sister was for about 2.5, 3 months. I'm in Tampa at the time, right? Before I'm in South Carolina. I'm in Tampa, Florida. And I didn't know where my sister was. All I knew is that she was somewhere where she was supposed to be getting a better education.
Wow.
As a child, I didn't know how to ask the questions like where and why. I just like, okay, well, my sister's at some cool school or whatever, you know? So when I get there, this is a crazy story, man. So when I get there, the first day that I'm there, they cut all my hair off, had a big afro. That stress actually triggered something in my system called alopecia. Yeah. And that's why I can't really grow my hair the way I want to now.
Right.
But the first day that I was there, I had one of my bunkmates who is now in prison. I actually researched him recently, which is crazy. My bunkmate there just told me, hey, just stay calm, be quiet, relax, just try not to go to sleep tonight. Try to stay awake. So while he's telling me this, one of the staff members comes to me and tells me to walk with him. So it's this big black guy. I'm like, I'm a kid, and this big black guy, he walks me through this little doorway, and he closes the door behind him, and he's like, okay, what I'm about to do, you can't tell anybody. So I'm like, hold up. In my head, I'm like, that just sounds like I'm about to get, you know?
Yeah.
So this thing, he just takes me like by the shoulder and walks me down the stairs. So I'm walking down the stairs, and I'm like, man, I don't know what's about to happen next, but it's whatever. I can't do anything about it. And he opens the door and I see my sister. Dude, I started crying. But 2-3 seconds max, closes the door. He's like, you can't tell anybody. He's like, I looked at you and I knew this was your sister.
That's insane.
And I had to make this happen.
Wow.
Took me back upstairs and I'm in shock now. I'm like, this really isn't happening. I'm like walking back to the bunk bed. I'm just sitting there and you could tell my bunkmate knew something was up, but I couldn't say anything. Mm-hmm. And that was my welcome to South Carolina. Mm. Yeah. So from that point on, nothing seemed real. Everything felt like a replay of a replay of a replay.
That's crazy. You told me about how did you join some type of choir? It was the only way that
Man, I had to finesse. I had to finesse.
Talk about it, man.
So I think what you're going to ask me is, I had to join. Okay, when we worked out, I told you that the only way for me to speak to my sister was to finesse programs to be able to speak with her.
Yeah, right.
They had no debate team. I was like, let's create a debate team. Mm-hmm. I think the boys can beat the girls. Mm-hmm. And it worked. Yeah, nice. Started passing letters back and forth.
Nice.
I said, hey, I know you guys can't tell us that we can't worship together with another race or sex by law, because I learned that in the debate that we had. The debate was about separation of church and state. Mm-hmm. So after I learned about separation of church and state during the debate, I said, oh, they can't separate us from worshiping together. Yeah. So I said, why don't we have a gospel choir? Right. And they fought it for a little bit. And it's crazy is at that moment, I had a guy come in there fresh, a new employee to the place, is a fresh, brand new pastor who used to be like a wicked, like a witch. Yeah. And so it's like the odds of that happening, and he pushed so hard for this gospel choir and Bible studies, and it worked.
Well, what do you, just for my knowledge, what do you mean like a witch? Like,
so you have Christians, you have your Muslims, you have your atheists, and there are like, I want to say wickets. You have your people who believe in a different type of dark underworld, and worship in a different sense.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of divergent of what religion is, like Christianity or Catholicism. I'm not 100% on how it works or what they do, but just know it's kind of seen as the antithesis to Christianity or Judaism.
Gotcha.
Right.
And he was down to start the choir.
He was down to start it because he's a brand new pastor.
Right.
So he's gun-ho, energy, like, let's make life happen. I'm like, you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And it made it happen. And then I got to see my sister, but we still couldn't speak. So we started passing letters, and then she'll pass a letter to one of her friends there who would ship it to who was someone, our neighbor. So I would give a letter to my sister. My sister would give that letter to a girl that was there. That girl was friends with one of our neighbors back in Tampa, and then that would get back to my parents.
Wow. What was your parents' response?
They didn't believe it was true. The system operates in levels. In order to speak to your mother on the phone and your father on the phone, you have to be at level 4. You know how long it takes to get to a level 4? Probably about 7 or 8 months.
That's insane.
Yeah. You can probably get there in 5-6 months if you're just like faking it to the core. Mm-hmm. But about 7 to 8 months. And at that time, my sister was a level 5. So now my parents, let me tell you this story, Josh. Another story while I was there in South Carolina, Carolina Springs Academy. My sister was a level 5 or a level 6. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. And my parents were able to come visit her. So one of my friends there, one of the boys there was like, hey, I think your parents are here. I was like, man, nah. I didn't know any idea what level my sister was.
Right.
So I was like, what do you mean, man? He was like, yeah, is your dad really tall and your mom like kind of short? And I'm like, yeah, man. So I kind of look outside and it's my parents. I ain't seen them for about a month and a half, going on 2 months at the time. And mind you, I'm not getting written back letters because they tell your parents, don't write your kids back until they're level 2 or until and so I'm just kind of like very, very, very few and seldom am I getting letters back from them. So I see them and I want to run to them, but I'm so controlled and manipulated that at that point that I'm believing to myself that I can't even go to my parents. So I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I'm seeing them maybe like 70, 80 yards that way, and I just don't know what to do. So my dad sees me, and my dad comes over, and a staff member there separates me from my dad and tells my dad, contractually, you cannot speak or see your son.
That's insane.
So mind you, this is where I noticed that there was a division in my household.
Right.
Because my dad was the only one there, and my mother wasn't. So I knew my dad really wasn't okay with the get down. And for some reason, my mom was manipulated to believe this was okay.
Yeah.
So at that moment, I asked if I could speak to my dad. My dad was begging to speak to me to the point where they were like, we have to let it happen. Like, it didn't look right, man. It didn't look right. My dad's not a beggar, so it didn't look right. So he takes me into one of the dormitories that we were sleeping in. And this is crazy, man. So my dad looks at the bed, and the mattress is about 4 inches, 4.5, whatever. Very thin. My clothes is beat up, ugly. And my dad's like, is this what I'm spending $1,700, $1,800? I'm like, what?
They paying to have this happen.
You're paying $1,700 to $1,800 a month for your child to be tormented,
Bruh.
For your child to develop all kind of PTSD,
yeah.
For your child to have all kind of mental misunderstandings about themselves and you, and that's when I realized, man, something isn't right, man.
Yeah.
It is bigger than me.
Have you been able to work through that? Given now, so I know, I'm kind of jumping ahead now, but your dad passed away about a year ago.
He passed away last year in March.
And then, I don't know if you talk much about your mom when we talk, where she is, but I'm curious, what has been the resolve now that you have become a successful adult? You're taking care of yourself. You're all the way here in Houston now.
Right.
What's the resolve now?
Man, it's a working process.
Mm-hmm.
To say that I'm fully healed from anything of my past is a lie.
You're right.
To say that I'm working on it is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be something like that because it can never be explained. There's no way a parent can explain to their child why they did something like that.
Yeah.
Because no matter what answer you give, the explanation is not a cure or a vaccine for what it is I experienced.
Mm-hmm.
All it is a reminder to why you should not have allowed that to happen. So you have parents that live in neglect, not neglect. You have parents that live in I'm having like a brain freeze right now. Denial.
Yeah.
They live in denial because they don't want to believe that this actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have children that just want their parents to say it did. And so that's kind of where my mother and I are at, is the denial of certain things that happen there. And I'm sitting there like wanting to having her open up so she can hear my experiences, but we come back there and there's always a friction there.
Right. But your dad, before he passed, you said he acknowledged.
He acknowledged it. He apologized for it. He acknowledged it. He knew that it was wrong. He knew that just that alone, like when I'm able to look back and just think about because when I thought about my dad growing up, I was like, man, I wish my father was there more for me.
Right.
I wish my father would do more for me and all that. But then now that he's gone, and I realized he stood up for me.
Yeah.
And you have to realize people lead in different ways.
Yep.
My mother was very vocal. So I just imagine that that's what leadership is supposed to be.
Man, that's just crazy. I'm going to ask one more question about that. I don't want to spend too much time back there. I know it's not necessarily the brightest place, but when you look at how it's affected you, and you talked about already having like some kind of mental barriers now and trauma. And then also, I believe you told me about 2 friends you had there and what their lives have turned out to be.
Yeah, man.
Can you talk about the lasting effects of that place?
Man, I feel like that place, as a child, when you're ripped away from your home and you're told you're supposed to think this way now, live this way now, you're supposed to feel sorry and feel bad for this. As a child, it's a very confusing time. And children, we just do what we're told. Right? We don't really do what we understand. We do what we're told. And then when you start to understand as an adult, you start to really think like, looking back, man, people that went there, they shouldn't be alive right now, man. That's trauma. Suicide, I got friends that have killed themselves from there. I have one that's in prison right now in Killeen, Texas. I found him on the internet about a month or so ago, I believe. I can't remember, but in prison. I want to meet him. I want to talk to him.
Like the whole reason was to quote unquote
fix you.
Yeah, to help you, rehabilitate you, put you on the right track. Yeah. But what's happening is that it's
prison,
creating so much
suicide,
trauma. Right.
Killers. There was one kid that got out of there, and if the story's true, one kid that got out of there and just started cutting throats, killed himself after. Didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because like you take kids who are like these teenagers. As teenagers, we're going through a stage in life where we're trying to find ourselves. And then when you remove us from that comfort zone, that community, that tribe that enables us to make mistakes and force us into a place where mistakes are penalized and we're not able to learn it in love, man, you create criminals, man.
Yeah.
You create survivalists. I'm a survivalist from there. I'm not a criminal. I'm one of the survivalists that came from there. I feel like it's either a survivalist or a criminal.
That's insane.
You either learn how to survive or you learn how to be a criminal.
And it was all quote unquote legal because it was under the guise of religion.
Yeah, ask Paris Hilton about it, man. She's out there right now trying to break these places down. She was sent there as a teenager. That's the thing. People don't know that. These things happen all underneath our noses, and we don't know because we're so focused on what we want. Well, I. This I society leave everybody blind, man. For real.
Okay, man. So having gone through all that, you luckily, good thing that you have turned out to be a superb gentleman.
I appreciate you.
Talk about now, what are you living for? And like, what is your why? What is your purpose
man,
now?
At first, my why was my father, man. Like, for a long time, like, the weight loss, the starting a business, all that was, man, like, I want to do this for my dad. I did not want to pass away like my father passed away due to health concerns.
Right.
The last message I sent my dad was, hey, man, can you please watch what you eat, man?
Right.
And that's how he passed away, right? So for a long time, my why was, man, I don't want to pass away like my father. I want to do everything I can to be as healthy as I can so I can see my kids and my kids' kids.
Is this when you were like overweight?
This is when I was 270-something pounds. I was at my highest was 291.
Yeah.
At 278 in 2018, my fiance now, but my girlfriend at the time, and I decided to get healthy.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I was going to get to that part too.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You recently engaged, man.
Yes, sir.
We worked out on the day.
The day that I was going to propose is our workout.
That's insane,
that's
bro.
what she doesn't know.
What you doing here, bro? You need
right.
Get your mind right.
Hey, man, work is work. You know, you gotta meet people. You gotta meet good energy, and you gotta work no matter what.
No, it was a good morning though.
It was a
we
great
fellowshipped and we worked out and fellowship and got to know each other, and now we're here. And so your purpose now, after you were dedicated to your father, that helped create this transition or transformation, rather.
Thank you.
And so what has it evolved to now?
Now it's about healing a community. Now it's all about health and wellness, not only for yourself, but for your community.
I love it.
And I just came back from Los Angeles, my hometown, my home city. I came back from there because I wanted to raise awareness and money for the homeless community down in LA.
This is your new initiative.
This is my new initiative. My strongest initiative, my new initiative is to bring awareness to the homelessness.
That's beautiful.
Going on in the United States of America, and I started with my home in Los
Sprint
Angeles.
for the homeless.
Say it again.
Sprint for the homeless.
So it was a Your Man Shan Sprint for Charity. Race for Charity. I'm sorry. Okay. Your Man Shan. It's my first one.
Okay.
The first Your Man Shan race for charity. So this one was uphill.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So every race will have some type of element of difficulty because in life we experience difficult moments. You know, we can run flat and coast through life, but that never happens. At some point, you're going to have to start running uphill.
Yeah, man.
And there's going to be people next to you wanting to beat you.
Yeah.
And those are typically the ones that you want to see win, too.
Yeah.
So you got to want to beat them just as bad as you want to see them win.
Ooh.
Because if you see them win, that's going to make you want to win next time.
Yeah.
And if you win, that's going to make you not want to lose next time, which is going to make them want to win even more.
Come on,
so you just create a whole society and a community of winners.
Yeah, man.
So that's what I tried to do back there. That's what I did. I didn't try, I did it.
Yeah,
that's what I did this past
man.
weekend.
Congratulations.
Yes,
and
thank you.
I know you planning the next one is going to be on sand.
Yeah,
the
next
beach.
one's going to be on sand.
And the whole idea is you're racing these, is it like celebrity trainers or something like that?
So what it is that I have a collection of friends that are just amazing down the line. And they have gone through their own transformations as well. One of my good friends out in LA, Chris Flanagan, he used to work at Denny's. And he used to be at Denny's with braces on, just like, yeah, I'm going to be a model. And all of our friends from high school were just like kind of laughing at him. But my cousin and I will go there and show him love and leave a decent tip because we're like, yo, we got to see you get up out of Denny's, man. Yeah. And then he ended up being on BET's, like for some runway event that they had. And from then just boom, blasted off.
I love it.
He was a part of it right there.
I love it.
I had a guy that I never met until that day of the race. And I feel like he's going to become a very important piece to who I am in my development as a man, and seeing who he was as a father. He's another well-established, incredible model. And then I had my cousin who was a international basketball player who's now working to be a firefighter. Yeah. So I had men who were out there who have experienced life, who experienced the desire and the need and the necessity for change, and felt that change and made it happen and never turned back.
I love it, bro. You have this thing you always say, change
happens when change happens.
Period. About that.
Period. I feel like a lot of times we overcomplicate the process of becoming better, right? So let's say you're in the gym right now. So let's say you want bigger and stronger arms.
Yeah.
So every day you're doing 10 curls each. That's not going to get you bigger and stronger arms in this time and the speed that you're going to want. Yeah. So if you do 10 today, why not do 11 the next day or the next time you do arms? And then maybe 12. That's a 0.5% better. That's change. That's a small version of change. Change happens when change happens, right? Yeah, let's say I'm getting into constant arguments and disagreements with my fiance over the most simplest of things, and I don't make the change. Let's say, true story, she leaves the lights on every time she leaves the lights on every single time that she leaves the room.
Don't do it.
And I just can't stand
Don't hold
that.
Me responsible. All right,
we're gonna hold you fully responsible for this one.
No, go ahead.
And I can't stand it, right? Me, because growing up, my mother was take the lights off, take the lights off. So it's not that I don't like it. I was just trained not to like it. Yeah. And so now that I realize that, I try my best to just take it off. And that's change. Yeah, man. Instead of just being like, dang, why are you leaving it on? Yeah. So now there's a lot less friction in the household because I decided to make change. So you can make change all across the board. It just has to be small, simple steps. She's a lot happier when I don't complain about a light. That's a small change with a big result at the end.
Absolutely.
Right? So change happens when change happens.
Man,
it's real.
That's real, bro. Relationships all about compromise. And you said something important. A lot of times we're just trained different.
Yes.
But some people take their training or their upbringing as scripture or the Bible.
Yes.
And why aren't you like me? But if you can't figure out how to work with somebody in business and relationships, you know what I mean? Just period, you're going to have a hard time.
I agree.
You got to be able to compromise and make changes. And also figure out okay, I was taught this, but is this really affecting that much? Is it really bringing that much of a difference?
Test it.
So, no, I love it. But just moving on, you are now training.
Right.
We're in your place of business or work.
Exclusive fitness. Exclusive fitness. If you want to be trained and actually change your body, change your life, change your mind, and see results, feel results, and let the world see it, right here, Exclusive Fitness over in Houston, Texas. I train primarily out of here. Tim, to say that to the camera, Exclusive Fitness over in Houston. That's where we're at right now.
So, that was the first ever Transformation Chamber commercial. So.
Yes, hey, there we go. First plug dropped.
No, it was pretty good. Now, if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching the video, you can see we're in a super dope gym right now with a super dope backdrop. So, thanks for allowing us in here as well. Talk about 2020 and what it's meant to you, how it's been to you, and how it's treated you, and your outlook on moving forward.
2020 has been probably one of the best things that have happened to me personally, right? So when COVID took over America, that was kind of February, March, earlier this year, started shutting things down slowly. I just got my real estate license at that time. And then I became quickly discouraged when we couldn't show people home so much, had to be from the distance. And I'm like, I'm such a people person. Right. I don't do this super technology, and it's not my thing. Yeah. I want to see you, meet you, feel your energy. Yeah. And when I realized the rest of the world was slowing down, I had to find a way to speed it up. Yeah. I didn't know how, though. I just knew I had to meet the right people to turn me up, And so I was just working out with different folks and meeting different people. And I met one trainer. He showed me my value. He literally showed me my value. The first time anybody has ever just put a mirror up to my value. And I was like, whoa, that's it. Yeah. And that was in about April of this year, May of this year. I want to say something like that. It just took off from there, man.
That's crazy.
It took off from there. So what I decided was I'm going to work harder than I've ever worked before. I'm going to be more consistent than I've ever been before. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep hitting that wall until I break through that wall. It's the same with fitness. It's the same with life. People hit the wall and they say, oh, that hurt. I don't want to hit it again. Yeah. And they hit it again with the other shoulder. And, man, both my shoulders hurt. Hit it again. You're going to break through it sooner or later. You just got to hit it differently. Right. Change happens when change happens.
How did he show you your value? And what do you say to people who don't quite see their value right now?
I was scared to train people. All right. So he saw me lose 100 pounds and he sees me running up these hills like a madman. And he sees me throwing weights around. He's like, why don't you train people? And I was like, man, I'm scared and all these other different reasons or excuses. Right. And I was like, man, I'm not this, I'm not that. Then he started pointing out different people that he didn't even know that I looked up to, one being C.T. Fletcher. I admire C.T. Fletcher. And C.T. Fletcher and I have developed somewhat of a relationship on Instagram. And so when he mentioned C.T. Fletcher's name in the way that he did and how and why he did, I connected automatically because I follow that guy and watch him every day. And then it clicked like, Shan, money follows value. Shan, people follow value. It's COVID. People want to see things that make them feel happy. People want to see things that are valuable. Nobody wants to see the guy talk about how expensive their chain was or is, or how fancy their car or how big their house is. People want to see, how real are you? How real is your story? Why should I contribute my time, my energy, my depression to you? When people watch you nowadays, they're giving you their energy, that depressing energy, because they're trying to change. They're trying to get rid of that depression and throw it on you because you seem so happy and it seems like you have space to take it on. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can change lives. Even if it isn't through fitness, I can change lives because I'm looking in the mirror now and seeing my life change before it even changed.
Absolutely.
So then that's when I knew I had confidence. I can take someone from being overweight, underweight, no muscle, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
I can help you change your life.
That's beautiful.
Because I did it for myself.
Yeah, you talked about, well, that's amazing, bro. You talked about how you were at a point where you kind of depressed. You were engaged before to the wrong person.
Yeah, wrong person.
I mean, not to talk bad about anyone, but you know, how to talk about breaking through that atmosphere. Yeah. Obviously, you're talking about change, and now again, you're engaged to this lovely young lady. Yes, we got to play tennis the other day, which is super fun.
She's kind of good, right? She's
super dope. Yeah, she's good. You know, what was the mindset to break through that depression? We already talked about breaking through being overweight, right? And then also making the choice to leave behind your old life, right, and attack a new one.
You know what, Josh? At the end of the day, if you want it, you want it. You make change. You look in the mirror, you make change. You look in the mirror, and you make change. I literally, at one point, was in my last relationship, standing in the bathroom, looking in the mirror, telling myself I'm about to go run a mile, knowing that I can't. I was 291 pounds. I see my last relationship, my ex, laying in the bed with no confidence in me. Like none. I'm talking about it with no confidence in me. And I was like, you know, I got to just do it for myself, man. Because no one's really going to be happy for me doing it until the results come. That's what I was thinking back then. Yeah. So I actually went out and I tried to run a mile and it didn't really work. But I knew like I could do it though. I just need a better atmosphere. I need a better situation, a better atmosphere, need a whole better situation in general. Right. And that's what allowed me to say it's time for me to get going and get lost and get up out of here. And that's when I decided at the end of the, about 3 weeks to about a month after that, I moved out of here. I left. I told her, I said, look, I got 3 days. I'm going to find me a place. And I was gone in 2. Gone in 2, man. That's how bad I wanted change. Yeah. That's how bad I wanted out and for me to start a new life. You just got to get uncomfortable. Put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, put your back against the wall, and one or two things are going to happen. You're going to fail, and you're going to stay on the wall, or you're going to make a little bit of an adjustment, and you're going to get off the wall. And with that adjustment, you're going to say, you know what? I never want my back to be against the wall again. I'm going to learn from that change and that adjustment that I just made. And that's all I did. And that's how I met the woman I met today. Yeah, the one with today, man.
Say her name, bro.
Man, that's how I met Jihan.
You know what I'm saying?
Should I say your last name, your middle name?
You
know it? No, that's how I met her, man. I met her along the route of becoming a better man. Yeah. I literally had somebody like recently speak to me about this or type with me or whatever, message me about this in Instagram. I was like, I don't believe you can find someone. Mm-hmm. I believe in the midst of you finding yourself and finding your passion and going after your goals, you're going to meet that person. Mm-hmm. It's along the way. It's not a stop and look. Mm-hmm. It's you're going, and this person either is going to give you momentum or give you direction.
I heard, actually, maybe it was me, I don't know, but I've always felt that it's better to find love when you're in your purpose, meaning that, you working. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're waking up there, like not just sitting around idle or just waiting for, just looking for love or some random person.
That's teenage love.
Yeah. You need to be working and it'll find you, especially for women, but men as well. Like it finds you in the most unlikely ways when you're just focused on what you're supposed to be doing. So
love married with ambition is incredible. Mm-hmm. When you pair love and ambition together, I feel like women get very excited when they meet an ambitious man. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why women are some women can be very protective over their very ambitious partner.
Absolutely.
Because ambition is like a turn on. It's an endorphin hit to me. I don't know. I don't feel it.
That's what's up, man. So let me ask this question. with all that you have experienced in
Right.
in a very short period of time, you're still a very young man.
Yeah, young guy.
All that you've gone through, being abused, obese, homeless, losing your father, losing the weight, all of it.
Right.
What is your message to people now? What are you trying to get across to the world?
The message I want to get across to the world is no matter what, you got to be cute and smile. No, seriously. The message that I want to get across to the world is that no matter what happens, no matter what is happening, and no matter what will happen, you're going to be you.
Uh-huh.
You are going to be you. You have to be undoubtedly the greatest you at all times. You have to know who you are. If you have no purpose and you have no vision, you need to chill, sit back, relax, and find your way. Seriously, that's what I tell my friends, my closest friends. Like, what do you want out of life? We're at the age where we got to start making decisions, or life's gonna make decisions for us.
Absolutely.
You can get put on the street, you can put yourself in a better house.
Yeah.
Like, there's decisions that we need to make. So anybody right now that I'm looking at, if you want change, I just want people to change their life, man, for the better.
So
I can direct you in 5 different paths and answer this question in a way that can make me seem as if I'm some like outstanding speaker. But at the end of the day, I just want to see people happy. I want to see people in a better situation. I want to see people change their lives. That's it. Because if you change your life for the better, you can change someone else's life for the better.
Yeah.
If you're happy, someone next to you is going to be happy. If you're smiling, someone next to you is going to be smiling. Emit positive energy.
Yeah, man.
Change the community and the culture for the better.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Appreciate you, brother.
Well, I guess we know why you're a willpower coach.
Man, you got to push, man. You got to push people to believe, man.
Yeah. So I actually have one more question. When thinking about will, what have you learned about will this far? Like, when you see a person and to themselves, they think they're a loser and a sucker, but you see gold, like, you don't even know what I'm about to do to you.
Oh, man, yeah.
What is it that you found psychologically or just like mentally? Like, what can you give us to understand about the will?
Okay, so very briefly, if I'm on the treadmill and you're on the treadmill and someone came in and said, whoever lasts the longest gets $1 million, I'm looking at you. I think I told you this. I'm looking at you and I'm telling you, hey, one or two things are about to happen. You're going to die trying to beat me, or I'm just going to outrun you. And that's how I look at my clients when they step in. If I see a client for the first time, I don't care if you have all the muscles in the world. I don't care if you look like the wimpiest, whatever. I'm looking at you like, I am about to eat you up and spit you out, and you got to find your way after that. The fact that you allowed yourself in my presence, you stepped into a cage with an animal that's willing to eat. If you're not willing to fight, I'm going to eat you up.
That's what's up.
And my clients sense that. And that's what I give, because that's what I want back.
Yeah, man.
That's what I want back.
That remind me, Will Smith said it like that.
That's exactly where I got it from.
Yeah. He's just like, if I get on a treadmill,
yes,
I'm just gonna die, or
yes,
I'm gonna win. Which one?
You gonna die trying to beat me, or I'm just gonna outrun you?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into rapid fire.
Oh man, these are always dangerous, man.
Nah, this one's pretty.
These are always dangerous.
I keep it pretty light, man.
Sure.
I promise you, it really is. The only thing is just answer as fast as you can.
Got it.
And we'll jump in. So I'll say a word, and you just say the first word that pops to your mind.
Got it.
And then I'll do like a this or that and an open-ended sentence. So,
got it.
All right, the first word is community,
love,
wellness,
power,
love,
community,
training,
powerful,
success,
inevitable,
favorite hobby,
chilling with my girl, my fiance. I'm sorry.
There we go.
There you go.
Favorite movie.
The Sound of Music. Oh God, I get killed for that.
Favorite food.
My favorite food. I don't know, man. Gummy bears, man. It's not food. It's candy. I don't have a favorite food.
There we go.
That's bison.
Yeah, I was about to say. You told me you like bison.
I love bison.
Elk and, yeah.
Bison anything.
Would you rather have no arms or no legs?
No legs.
No legs.
Shan
Shan Charles is
Charles.
In high school, I was
funny, misunderstood, yet still loved.
If you were to run for president, your campaign slogan would be
change happens when change happens.
My fiance is
great.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
I am me. Hold that.
That was good.
That's a credit to us.
I had to count the word. Yeah, I was like, I am me. Okay, all right.
There you go.
It works. The people want to know, what are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you reading right now?
Yes. I'm listening to, there's 2 artists mean, I love Chris Brown and everything, but my favorite, Jaden Smith. Jaden Smith. We spoke about Will Smith just now.
Okay.
So Jaden Smith, and right now, there's two others. I have UTK. I love UTK. I'm gonna send you his stuff.
Okay.
I love UTK and Tiffany Goucher, a friend of mine. I love her music. It puts me in a nice, relaxing mood. So I'll take those. And if we're talking about up and coming hip hop artists, Zachary.
Okay, cool.
Vibe in the mood.
What are you watching? Are you watching anything?
I just finished 60 Days In.
Okay.
I watch anything that's biographical. If we're talking anything that's real, I'll watch it.
Okay.
If it can really happen, I'm watching it. But nothing is particular right now. We just finished Greenleaf, so that's
Greenleaf's cool.
That was crazy.
It's funny. My last guest interviewed the entire cast of Greenleaf.
What?
Yeah.
I gotta meet them.
On the Oprah Network.
Crazy.
Other than that, man, we had obituary question and given your physique and how much you work out, we know you're gonna live for a long, long time. So this is purely hypothetical.
Hypothetical question.
But we're 200 years in the future. We're at your funeral, and someone gets up to Jihan gets up to read your obituary. What does it say?
Oh my gosh. Shan loved me. He loved his kids, and he loved his community. Now it's time to turn up.
Hey,
there you go.
All right. Last thing is parting advice. This is a time where you've given us so much advice already. So maybe the greatest piece of advice you've ever heard, somebody told you, a mentor, or something again that you just like to leave with people.
I'm gonna tell people this. This is the greatest piece of advice I can give anybody. When faithfulness is less desired, that's when it is most necessary. When you don't want to do something, when you know you need to do it, that's when you were supposed to and you need to do it. And that's when you see change happen. So when faithfulness is less desired, that's when it is most necessary. That would be my piece of advice.
Boom. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Yeah. What else do we say after that? That was beautiful, bro. My God, Shan, man. Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to sharing this. I hope it helps some people, man. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Transformation Chamber. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Thanks again for tuning in to the Transformation Chamber. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. To find out more about Shan Charles, follow him at Your Man Shan. To find out more about the Transformation Chamber, follow me at Joshua T. Dada or visit my website at joshuatdada.com. Until next time, peace.